Spencer's saying we should get a jingle, and I'm so on board with that. I just have to
Okay.
think of one. Slash, we need to think of
Do
one.
do 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 do
Yeah,
do do
that's
do
definitely a
do
copyrighted
do do
song.
do do.
Um, but all right, hello everyone. We actually had some listeners on last episode, so like happy episode 2, everyone. We've done
Oh,
something. We've made it to episode 2. And so welcome to the Wine and Bitch podcast. I'm gonna be the one to break the news. I'm not drinking alcohol right now.
Neither am I.
It's
It's
too,
okay. I just woke up from a very long nap.
yeah, I was gonna say it's too early
that's
in my day. I'm drinking coffee still, so
wow.
um,
All right. Well, that's fine. That's fine. I will consume enough for the group for
perfect.
all three of us. I've made a
Per
pretty hefty pour Kahlua and cream this evening.
Oh wow.
This is what we're working with.
Well, I'm happy someone came prepared.
yeah, good job, Sierra.
Yeah, somebody in this group's got to be prepared.
But yeah, I guess wanted to do a quick check-in before we dive into our topic. How is everyone? I kind of have a feeling I know the answer, but you know.
Yeah, not doing great this
Oh
week.
man.
But that's okay. We're getting there.
We're all
I mean,
struggling.
I just told you that I sat in my car for a half hour listening to music to be anywhere but my house. So
Right.
take that as you will.
Wow. This is
Shelby,
life now.
how's self-isolation going for you, girl?
Oh,
You holding up?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there are good days and bad days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's this week was a hard one. I don't know why this week, but you know, maybe it's finally getting to me. Maybe like my mom is now just sending me memes of all the stuff that it's like, man, I knew I was a homebody, but I still like to go one or two places. Like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
She's now just sending me those memes. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's isolation or it's just my brain being psycho. I don't know what's getting to me first, you know?
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I thought this would get easier, not harder. But anyway, I guess if we wish, you know, talking life and lifestyle, Amir, would you like to intro this theme since you picked it?
I would love to if I remember what
Oh
what
my God.
So no, I think I'll save an intro for
Okay,
another week. I don't think this week I want to intro
okay.
something. Thanks for
Yeah,
the
you're welcome.
opportunity.
Sure. I'll give you a heads up next time.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks.
well, for this week, we figured we would talk about kind of like simple living, simplifying lifestyles. I don't know specifically how I had it written in the topic list. Oh God, I don't know. Now I'm reading it all and I don't know where it is. But oh yeah, I think I literally just wrote if life was simpler, would we be happier? Which wow, I feel like
Yeah.
that didn't hit as hard when I first wrote it as it did right now. But so I don't even know where we want to like start to dive into that. I kind of wanted to like see. I know the topic I wrote was like super vague, but I wanted because I have lots of feelings on the topic in general and all the things that surround it. So I guess is there any starting ideas like simplifying lifestyles, whether it's like in general or kind of in relation to the fact that we've all been forced to slow down and chill and kind of simplify our lives for a bit right now, if like it's connected to
Yeah, I
that.
think that's why this topic really stood out with me at these times, mostly because like right now, technically we're all living very simple lives right now because of the whole quarantine. And that's where I was kind of thinking, well, most people aren't happier now, but like we are kind of living simple lives, I think, because there's nothing to do. I mean, I guess we're relying on technology, so maybe it's not simple. I don't know. That's where I was really, this topic was hitting home, I feel like.
I like it. I like it. That's interesting that like saying that like that we're all kind of being forced to live more simpler lives, but it feels like everyone's unhappy.
Right.
I
Like, I
feel
don't know,
like
maybe as humans, we need, you have this need of like doing things,
hmm
and like simple maybe isn't good for us. I don't know.
I feel like in some ways this is making me enjoy the simpler things more. Like the half hour a day I go outside for a walk, I just enjoy it so much more
Hmm.
than I did any other time because it's not something normal. I'm enjoying like little things like playing solitaire, like playing with cards because I had nothing else to do right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Just and like the simple things of like when my roommates come home and we watch something on Netflix. I feel like it's forcing you to look at simpler things, and it's kind of just a mindset of, how you're seeing it at that point. I mean, yeah, I obviously miss like, some of the non-simpler things, but I feel like this is forcing you to do those things, and you can enjoy them just a smidge more and miss some of the simple things that you can't have right
Yeah.
now.
That's a really good point. Like, yeah, it's like we're not like you literally just hanging out with someone else face to face
Yeah.
and like appreciating that. Like it's definitely something you didn't do before quarantine. That simple act of just literally talking to someone face to face. So
Hmm.
that's very true. Like appreciating the small
Also,
things.
talking of like connectivity, because I feel like I guess for like somewhat slow background, I've been like researching simple lifestyles and stuff like that for probably on and off for like 4 years. So like I like find this whole topic very interesting. Um, and I feel like the base to all of it is like connectivity over anything else and kind of
Hmm.
because obviously in normal life, if we weren't currently all stuck inside, we all are kind of running at like a mile a minute and constantly have 100 things going on and life is insane and whatnot. And I feel like the base idea of simple living is to kind of like chill out, realize it's okay to take a breath and focus on like what's actually important, um, which tends to be, human relationships and connectivity with yourself and with others. And
Mm.
something that's been so interesting throughout this whole process is like I have spoken to people more being in quarantine than I have spoken to people since graduating
Yeah.
college.
Yeah, that's so true.
Like it's
Yeah.
so weird. It's almost like, and I mean, I love it. Like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. But there are days that I'm like, oh my God, if I could just not talk to a person today. Like, I'm almost just like, holy shit. Like, I'm so used to like, quite frankly, not speaking to people for like weeks on end, just because like I've been like not around people for like a year now, basically. Um, and
Hmm.
like now there's people calling me, which I love. I'm not gonna say I don't love it, but it's like there's that moment where I'm just so not used to it. And it's like, oh my God, I swear if one more person FaceTimes me today, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah.
Like I wanna look like
Yeah.
a piece of shit and lay on my sofa and do nothing.
Yeah, I also feel like FaceTiming and calling like takes so much more energy because like you have to actively be talking like the
Yes.
entire
Yeah.
time.
And there's nothing to talk about anymore.
Right. It's the same conversation.
Yeah. And it's like, can you even have a conversation without not talking about quarantine, without not talking about COVID and what's going on?
Yeah.
And like,
Mm-mm.
it's literally impossible. It's insane. I think like I talk to a friend slash we do workout Wednesday every Wednesday night, and then after we're done working out we like we'll chat for like a little bit afterwards. And we literally hit a point last week where we were like, oh my God, we have nothing to talk about, like absolutely nothing to talk about. And we were like, we're gonna have to start like making a list of like boring ass shit that happened in our day just so we have something to talk about next week.
Hmm.
It's like sad, like I've known this person for like almost my whole life and I have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So like is that meaning does that mean you're living a simple life? Like
i
oh,
don't I don't
is this
know.
or is it more like what Sierra was saying where it's like no, you're enjoying the simple things?
I
I
mean,
don't know.
oh, I don't know. I I have like such mixed feelings because obviously I think it doesn't help that it's all forced. Like everything right now is forced. So it's really hard to
Hmm.
have a
Hmm.
super positive look on that.
That's true.
Whereas if you I feel like the pull towards simple living was, oh my God, I'm currently living this like really stressed out, hectic life where I always have things going on. I'm going to pull back by my own choosing and get to pick and choose what I want to partake in and not partake in so that I
Yeah,
don't feel overwhelmed.
that's a very good
Yeah.
point.
So I feel like um, yeah, I don't know. It's not helping, obviously, that all of this is forced. So it's like
Right.
hard to see the good in it. Not the good, but you know what I mean. I'm like questioning everything I was saying. But I asked Spencer before we started kind of like his thoughts on like basically if I just said simple living to him, his general thoughts on it, kind of like does he think we're living a simple life? Does he think quarantine has affected it at all? Et cetera, et cetera. And he just to like get another opinion, he was like he says that he thinks we live a simple life, which I'd say for the most part I like probably agree with. But he basically said in terms of the quarantine, he would just hope out of all of it, maybe quarantine has shown that we need more balance in our lives. Because before quarantine, I mean, I feel like the idea of like getting a day to rest was like non-existent. I mean, maybe not so much for us because I know we were kind of fresh out of college, so it was more chill for us, but like I just think like my parents, like they would sometimes go forever, it felt like, without taking a break.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so it's kind of like maybe being stuck to do nothing has has shown that we need this kind of like, sure, it's good to be busy and like achieving things, but it's also like we need to value those moments of rest and kind of like just talking to people and not having to do 50 million things at one time and
Yeah.
things of
I
that
also
sort.
Mm-hmm.
have seen so many, I feel like a lot of posts, obviously, I don't know firsthand because I don't have kids, but I've seen a lot of posts about like how children, as annoying as it is to have like have to work from home with kids, like they get to spend so much more time with families because everyone's home now and like how it
Yeah,
is very, it's become so family oriented, which is all, I mean, it has to be like
Yeah.
you can't do anything else. But again, like the silver linings, I guess. So it's back to
definitely.
that whole like finding the little good things that's happening out of this.
Yeah, isn't it kind of like crazy to think about? Like, even, oh God, my history isn't great, but I want to say, um, even in the past, like, two generations, like, think of how important family time was. And, like, now, like, you can still have a family unit, but everyone has their own schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I feel like that didn't exist then. Like, when I talked to my grandparents and my parents about, like, growing up, it was obviously nothing close to how we grew up. Um, and
Yeah.
it's like they had family time. Like, you were home by a certain time, and like certain days were the days you went and visited these parts of your family every week or every 2 weeks. And like that was dedicated time with your family. And like this was like about your family, and it all came down to being about your family. And like that doesn't happen anymore. At least not for me. Like for sure not for me.
No.
Yeah.
Um, eh,
I mean, you even think of like the concept of like a family dinner
yeah,
Yeah.
that rarely, like that's something so simple. Like you were home by this time, dinner is served, and everyone sat down at a kitchen table. I couldn't tell you the last time that I like sat down with my family at our kitchen table, like all four of us together, one
yeah,
meal. Just because everyone has their own separate lives.
Hmm.
Even when you're home, you had a sporting event to go to, you had a a gathering to go to, work to do, practice, like something.
definitely.
Yeah.
I was like, even like growing up, I feel like I had more meals on the go in the car
Oh yeah, yeah.
than actually like at home. But it's just, it's like crazy to think about. And um, so I definitely, Mira, I've been seeing the same thing about like family posts. And it's really funny. Obviously, again, I don't have kids, but I've been seeing such the different sides of some people. And obviously, I understand there's good and bad. Kids are insane and a lot of energy, and you're not used to having this, having, I feel like that's the wrong word to use, having to spend that much time with them. So it's like some people I think are almost getting like an eye opening in a way of being like, oh my
Mhm.
God, I like actually have to handle my children. Like
Yeah.
you
Very much
can't just
so.
disappear for the day. And there's like good and bad in that. Because obviously it's good to like have your breaks and whatnot, but like you now actually have to
Mhm.
fully just deal with your children.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
pretty
I
funny.
mean, even like talking to my cousins over the weekend who have young children now, they were like laughing at some of the stuff that they're, like quote unquote introducing their kids to.
Mhm.
Because, for so long they didn't have to entertain them for the whole day. They were at daycare or at school for most of the day while their parents were at work. And then when they come home, they have normal activities, TV and like the tablets they play on and the Game Boys and everything. But when you are stuck at home for the entire day, you have to entertain your child. Like that's the thing about kids, they need to be entertained, and not always having like a new show to watch, a new game to play. My cousins are like, yeah, I brought home crayons and a coloring book, and I'm just like, do this. Or those like paint by numbers. They're like reintroducing all these things, like things that we
Did all the
thought were
time.
totally normal, like
Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah, those simple things like that. But for them it's like this new experience, because they're not just sitting there in front of this TV. They're like actively doing something, and it seems so so new and interesting. But I don't know, that just took me by surprise. And she's like, yeah, I grabbed a paint by color and She's like, they have these little beads that you can make a design and iron them together. I'm like, yeah, I had those. I have tons of
I
Oh
those
my
love
God,
as a
those.
kid.
perler beads or what were they called? Yeah,
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 dude,
those
those were
are my favorite.
amazing.
Yeah, you brought out the iron
and
for
I
it.
was like,
Yes.
so yeah. I mean, on that note, like sometimes simple things can be better. They engage you more.
Hmm.
I mean, it like we said, it's beads and an iron, but like they're having a ball with it right now.
Yeah.
That's how.
Meanwhile, their tablet is like 15 minutes and it's like, okay, what's the new game I can play?
Yeah.
I'm bored with this.
Wendy and I just went to Michael's the other day to pick up some arts and crafts for the weekend, and they had
Love
like
it.
curbside pickup. There were so many cars
Oh my
to be
God.
like to pick up stuff for Michael's, and almost everything was sold out on their website. Like everyone is getting their crafts on for
That's
sure.
like
Hmm.
that's so great though. Like that, I mean, maybe just
Yeah,
because I basically have a Michaels like in my bedroom.
yeah.
But that makes me so happy because like I don't know if it was no, it would have been like 2 years ago. My sister was like babysitting all summer and she wanted to go on this trip. So for a week, I agreed to substitute, which was a horrible idea, me being not great with kids, but whatever. And I showed up at their house because I was like, I don't know what these kids like. Like, I don't know these kids. My sister tried to be like, oh, they just basically she was like, they just sit in front of the TV all day. And I was like, okay, but like, I don't want to do that. Like it was such a nice day. Like, it was beautiful middle of summer. Like, I didn't want to sit in front of a TV all day. Like, sure, I'll do it one of the days of the 5, but like, holy crap, there's nothing else you can do. So me, I was like, I have all these supplies. I'm gonna show up with this big box. Like they don't have to supply anything. I like brought all of my like leftover shit supplies that I didn't want anymore and was like, let's just do it. I show up and they went, we don't do that. And I was like, I'm sorry, are you kids or are you like, what are you? Like they were at the age where like I would have been like painting and making things and like they were like in elementary school. Like all you were supposed to be doing is arts and crafts. What are you
Yeah,
doing with your life? And it
yeah.
like broke my brain. Like I like showed up and I was like, we can do paint, we can do this. I like had so many options. I was so proud of myself. And they were like, no, we don't do that. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what are these kids? I don't understand. So that literally makes me so happy because I keep meeting kids who don't do any form of crafting, and that's all I did. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
amazing.
yeah, I fully
Hmm.
vote that because of technology.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I
Well,
see a
that
kid in the
was
store and he like has a tablet just walking around behind his
Yeah,
mom. Like,
doing a
that's true.
TikTok.
yeah. Oh, seriously?
That was something that actually happened while I was in the store today, and I was like, kind of chuckling under my breath, but I was looking through the games section because none of my board games are here. They're all at my parents' house. I'm like, craving anything to do at this point, and they're almost all sold out. And a guy, a father walked up to one of the employees who was next to me, and he's like, "Hey, do you have any other puzzles or this board game?" And like was holding up a list. He's like, "No, like we're sold out of that board game. These are the only puzzles we have left." He's like, "I'm unboxing more if you want to look through these with me."
Oh,
He's like, "But people are looking for things to do." He's like, "There's been so many families in here picking out board games. It's crazy." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just like simple things like that. Board games that we like take for granted all the time that are just like sitting in your
yeah.
closet. So many people are after them right
Yeah,
now
That's
because
crazy.
they just want something to do that, technology can't give them at this
yeah,
point."
it's pretty cool.
Technology has
Yes.
finally failed us.
Yeah.
We've run out of entertainment. That's
Now, on the reverse side of that, I I could definitely like not be living a simpler life like in regards to technology at this point because how would I communicate with you guys and how would I communicate with my family
Yeah,
because I can't none of us can get home right now and none of us live close to our parents and families.
yeah.
So on that scale, like I'm happy that it's not a simple life that I can there's a form of technology that I can still see you. I can FaceTime you and see your body language and your actions to things rather than just words on paper or words in a text or a phone call.
hmm, that is very true. It's like
Definitely.
we're saying that technology is like not enough and it just shows human need, but also very happy we have it as like some sort of
Mm-hmm.
supplement to the real thing.
Oh, definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love seeing Spencer's face every single day, but I think if I never talked to another human, I would lose my mind.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Spencer's the only one I need.
Yeah, Mir, you keep FaceTiming Spencer every day. That's so weird. But no, I think I find it really interesting because I mean, if you like take away our current situation, I feel like generally simple living is people tell you to like disconnect and like kind of I mean, generally the blanket vision of a simple life is someone who like lives like kind of removed and like maybe is a
Mhm.
bit of like homesteading and kind of able to self-sustain and like not
The
taking
Amish.
things, yeah, basically I feel like if you had a
Hmm.
more modernized Amish person, that's how people imagine simple living, which obviously is a form of it, but it doesn't have to be that. But everyone is like the first thing everyone says is like disconnect from technology because I mean, there's been countless studies on how basically addictive it is. We basically all have cell phone addictions
Hmm.
and how much
Yeah.
we are just attached to it and it's not great at a lot of times. But like, yeah, literally, and obviously there's balance and whatnot. But if we didn't have that right now, I don't know what I would be doing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
I think on some scales, we tend to use our technology more for content now than we do for connection. And I think that's where we start to abuse it. And it goes from, a good tool to sometimes a distraction because we're constantly, scrolling through Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat, Pinterest, anything that you can check that will give you something new to look
Hmm.
at when these were originally designed to connect you to people that you couldn't be
Yeah,
with.
that's a super good point. I like that.
And I think sometimes people forget that that's, the reason that we have these
Yeah.
phones, and they don't use them for that.
Right.
They go days without talking to people, but can't go 2 hours without checking Twitter. And I'm guilty of that. I know that. I'm one of those people that I'm just constantly sitting here scrolling for something new to look
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
That is true. You're not
when I
actually
could just as
interacting, which is
easily.
what the whole
Yeah,
design was made for.
It's
yeah.
crazy. I
Yeah.
just turned on my like measure the amount of time I'm on my phone feature. I don't know what it's called. Um, I
Oof.
just I
Yeah, mine
just
has
registered it. Yeah,
skyrocketed.
because obviously I don't get the before and after because it wasn't measuring it before, but it's kind of sad. My number has been about 5 hours a day that I sit on it. Um,
Hmm.
and I don't think it's that is that drastic from before, if I'm gonna be totally honest. But I just like I think about that and I'm like, that's 5 hours of my life
Yeah,
that
that's a lot.
I am doing that.
But
And I've
Mhm.
been trying to like essentially like schedule time where it's like okay, at this time I'm talking to people, at this time like because I'm a serial Instagram poster, at this time I'm gonna post my Instagram content and post whatever it is I want and then I'm getting off and being done. And I've tried to like create a schedule because I will literally sit on it for an entire day and just get sucked in. And I don't and like I
Mhm.
can't even tell you what I'm looking at because I'm like my brain is like zoned out. Like it's not even functioning anymore. It's just like you're just staring at things. That's cool.
That's good that you're kind of like on a schedule for your awareness of how much you're on it. So that's good.
Trying. I'm not sure if it's
Trying.
working, but I'm trying.
Step in the right direction.
I was trying to Google this a little bit today though, and I was like, because I mean, the whole simple living, there's like so many different lifestyles that are attached to this idea, and I always like to Google like what people say, you like should and shouldn't do. Like, what are tips to like start putting yourself in this direction? Obviously, like to anyone who does those things, obviously make your own choices to what lifestyle you want to live. But the first, I saw this one article that they were like literally ditch the smartphone and buy a regular phone again, which they were like it won't be easy to find, but they said that like they basically threw away their smartphone, bought a phone that can just make calls essentially, and like that's not what they use. And I was just like, I don't know how to feel about that. Like I had so many like mixed feelings. I don't, and this may just be me making the excuse in my head. I literally don't know if I could do that with my job. But
But the-
yeah, but that might like, am I just making that excuse? But like,
I feel like though, if you once you did it, it's some of those one of those things like you don't realize what you're missing if you don't have it. Because like,
oh
I feel
my
like a
God,
lot of people who like delete their apps, they take like a 2 month break from
yeah,
Instagram, like people do that, and they're just like, yeah, like, or from like Snapchat's a good example. You're like, yeah, I don't feel like left out or that I need to know what everyone's up to because like I really, I don't have the option to do that. So I feel like after you kind of get used to like you'd obviously if you just got a dumb phone, you'd have to find some other way to fill all of your time. But after you
Yeah,
kind of got more hobbies, I feel like you wouldn't care because it's one of those things you don't realize what you're missing. It's like you don't care about all the other applications.
very true. It's
I don't
just
know. I think
so
it would be cool to try.
weird. It'd be worth a try, but also like that would like all of our group chats wouldn't be able to exist.
Right. That's the thing. I wouldn't want to miss the how like
Yeah.
Sierra was saying the communication part of technology. I wouldn't want to
Yeah,
like not be able to like FaceTime people or something if all my friends are FaceTiming. But I agree. I would want to get rid of the content aspect and more the communication because I love that Sierra said that. So I'm going to use it all the time now.
maybe we just need to all go back to having
Uh,
like iPods where like you had to be connected to
Yeah,
Wi-Fi so you can still
Ooh,
communicate, but like
exactly.
you're not as tempted to use it out in day-to-day life.
Exactly.
We just need to reverse, that's all. I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
we're gonna embroider that on a
What?
pillow. So I'm just gonna embroider that on a
Just your
pillow.
connectivity?
Start selling them during
Do
quarantine.
it.
Yeah.
Do it. That'll be a
Less
a
content,
banger.
more connection.
Heck yeah. I'll put that pillow on my
Hell
couch.
yeah. Hell yeah.
See, but that's so I live for content. I create content all the time.
Oh,
Oh
I
yeah.
know. I
But we
know.
like your content.
You're one of my favorite content creators.
We interact with your content, so it's good content.
Oh, thank you, thank you. But that's like for me such an inner battle because I feel like the thing that I realistically know should be kind of moved away from is like essentially my career. So it's like does my career become null and void or like how do you like strike about like I don't know. I it's such a hard balance for me and it's something that I don't think I'll ever be able to obviously just like cut out, but I do understand the need to like have uh more barriers in a sense.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I think how you said, I think it's all about the balance. But
Yeah.
we as humans in technology have not found the balance yet. Like when there's
No.
microchips in our brains, like and we're way more integrated with our technology, it'll be perfect.
Will that
Can't
be perfect or will we just forget any sense of normalcy and just be technology all the way?
Yeah, but we're gonna be cyborgs, which will be awesome.
Yeah, but we'll forget even the idea of it, so it doesn't matter. It's like so funny. So I guess within simple living, there are like a bunch of different lifestyles that kind of focus on different things within that, including like green living, minimalism, zero waste slash low waste living, or there's now slow living, which I was doing research on. I've never heard of slow living. I've literally, no joke, been researching this shit for like over 4 years, and I've only heard of slow living in the past like week and a half. Um, it sounds very close to simple living, but it basically like people saying that you should be able to kind of create the life you want and not feel the need to be bogged down with like all the things we should be doing because obviously we all kind of live in a world that is telling us we should be busy all the time and that's how you achieve success and all the things. And it's kind of giving yourself that power to say no to things, which is kind of a funny thing. They were like, I forget how someone worded it. They were like, in the beginning of a transition, if you're trying to be a more simple or slow living person, there should be more no's in your calendar than yeses, which is like the exact opposite of what we were taught ever. Like, we are supposed to be the yes
Yeah.
person. And I am a total yes person in like every professional sense. Like I will pretty much do anything that someone asks me to do. Um,
Yeah.
but it is like something interesting to think about to be like, if this isn't something you think is, I don't want to say worth your time, because obviously, like, especially professionally, we're not in a place where we can be making the calls. At least I'm not. But I think it's interesting to start realize like it's almost like we've lost the sense of setting boundaries on like taking a break versus being busy. And it almost like you feel wrong for saying no to things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I agree with that.
And it's just like it's like it's hard. Like you don't want to appear as lazy or, not ambitious, but it's like also things just take the time they need to take. And I feel like if you're putting your energy towards them anyway, then like, is that really negative? And it was such an interesting article of people being like, multitasking isn't truly that beneficial because you're probably just taking more time to get all the items done. And it was like super interesting on just basically like learning to say no, learning to focus on one thing at a time, learning like what's going to give you value in the end versus not, and like making those choices and like being the bigger person and being able to like do things that benefit yourself more often than not.
Mm-hmm. Like I definitely like kind of agree with that philosophy, but you said that they called that slow living.
Either slow living or simple living. It's kind of they have a lot of overlap. All of these things have a lot of overlap, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like to me, that doesn't like, I guess when you first said slow living, that's not where I thought you were going to go with it.
And there's probably way more to it. I think it's just like the idea of like valuing what it is, valuing what you want in life and finding the best way to get there. So, and like not getting
just slowing down.
not getting distracted by like all the things going on.
That makes sense.
I think that's mostly what it means, but they were just talking like a professional sense and like even relationship sense because like especially I mean I can't relate to this because I don't really stay connected with like that many people, but like you can kind of get overwhelmed and feeling the need to like be communicating with everyone constantly and like sometimes you just can't do that.
That's true. I kind of like that idea. Yeah, of the slow, simple living. Yeah.
Honestly, guys,
I don't know if I'd ever really practice that because, like, in real life, theoretically, I like it, but also, like, I don't know. I like saying, like, especially in social aspects.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to say no and then they never invite me again.
I was gonna say, I feel like
yes.
as I was reading this, it seemed like the complete opposite of you, Mir. Like, I was like, I can't picture like, you doing that.
In theory, like, I agree with what you're saying. Like, yeah, you should only say yes to things that you want to do or benefit you. And I'm looking at it more in a social aspect than professional. But for me, it's kind of like, yeah, but also like if you say no all the time, people aren't going to invite you to do stuff. So you got to say yes.
Exactly.
Oh my God. No, I'm agreeing with you. It's just really, it's like, it feels like the exact opposite of you as a person. Just like,
yeah.
And it's really entertaining. Honestly, I think we should just all go buy like a plot of land and farm and chill. Like we'll have either like multiple like little houses on the place or we can all just share and it'll be great. And we'll basically just be Amish and Saturdays we'll go into town and to go to the market and it'll be beautiful.
Oh, heck yeah, I'd be down for it. Let's do it.
Shelby, I would just like to remind you right now that you've said that as we're recording. I'm going to use that on you every month for the rest of your life.
Listen.
Wow.
You've outlined my dream that you just refuse to abide by. So you
don't realize that.
I am not against the lifestyle. I love the lifestyle. I mean, I like literally like I have two very separated parts of my body that in my mind that want to live in like downtown and have this really like fun, penthouse apartment. And then also the other part of me wants to move to the middle of nowhere and have all this land and just chill. Like I have both those dreams inside of me. The issue is I don't want to move back to Pennsylvania. So Sierra, that is where we have a disconnect.
All right. Well, Shelby, would you like me to hold on to that knife you just put in my heart until you get here, or should I mail it to you?
I don't think I'll be making it back for a bit. Quarantine seems to keep getting extended.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, are you kidding me? I would totally buy like a piece of land someday and like just chill. And especially if it was like, this is gonna sound kind of culty, but like a community.
Ooh, yeah, let's start our own community.
Oh my God, what would it be called? And what would we do?
Can we do one of those naked ones?
A nudist colony?
Yeah.
I mean, you can practice it. I don't know if I'm going to practice more. I mean, okay, wait. It doesn't necessarily just mean nude. It's just your preference of clothing.
Right.
I'm on board.
Yeah. I'm up for it.
Yeah. All right.
As long as I will literally just be in my underwear all the time because that's just how I live. So
same.
I'm on board.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with it.
I'm so excited.
That is our only rule is we are a borderline nudist colony. Other than that, we're just figuring it out as we go. What would be our, would there
I
be
like
an
it.
initiation? There would totally be an initiation.
Oh my God, yeah.
Hmm.
Guys, if we're gonna do a cult, we're gonna do a cult right.
Well, we can't call it a cult, but like, we're a
No, no,
community.
no. The community.
Wow, this could be just an
It
absolute
would be.
blast. I'll start looking into
Let's move to
locations now.
like a really low profile beach town.
Charlotte or North Carolina has some cool stuff. Let's look at
Beach
That's
town.
not beach town.
there's some beach.
You know, are we talking like ocean beach or can it also be, like a small lake and or a dam?
I was thinking like
Prefer ocean.
ocean.
Yeah.
Because if
I
you're
want to be like,
Oh, okay.
I think we should theme this after Moana.
okay, I'm on board.
Interesting.
Our inspirations are all over the place.
All
All right,
right.
nudist colony mixed with
I
Moana.
like it.
We're bringing Disney and nudity together. Just what the world
We're
needed.
gonna need a chicken that eats
Yeah,
rocks.
we're gonna need a chicken that eats rocks.
I'll
And
look
we
Yeah.
into
can't eat the
that.
Yeah.
chicken.
I'll look into
Right.
that. No. Mm.
That would be amazing.
I would also like to toss out that we celebrate Christmas twice a year.
We can do that as long as
That can
there's
be
no
doable.
snow.
I mean, I need snow for one
That's
of them.
fine. You can have like a little bit.
You can make naked snow
Oh
angels.
God.
Ooh. I'm intrigued.
That sounds cold as
Yeah.
hell.
I mean, I feel like our bodies will
Sure,
adapt.
that's how that works. Well, I think this is gonna be the best community I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I'm excited. You heard it here
That's true.
first.
You heard it here first, folks.
We're gonna need a
Oh
flag.
my God, we'll totally have a flag. Are you kidding me?
Can it have lemons on it?
Lemons? Oh yeah, it can be like lemons as
Yeah.
little like booty cheeks.
I mean, hey, they could also be the
They-
boobs. The ends of lemons kind of look like
my
nipples.
God. Yeah, but like that'd be weird. Like, would you see a lemon if it was painted from that angle? I've never seen a lemon painted from that angle.
That's
Ever. Like I would just see nipple.
We could work on it. We'll work on it.
We're gonna workshop that idea for a bit. You guys wait. You'll be receiving flyers to join our
We'll be back.
community.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. Instead of coconut bras, we're gonna have
Oh,
lemon
God.
bras,
That'll
Ooh.
be so good on our skin.
That's so true.
right?
We're gonna smell so citrusy.
Yeah.
Hair always
Oh
bleached.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like we've said all that there is to say.
Yeah, I feel like we were all
that.
kind of in
I mean,
agreement.
especially as like we're living
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I feel like that was like obviously the big thing, especially when researching like simple living can sound like, removing yourself from the planet and living off the grid. But I feel like it just comes down to like finding balance basically in your life or like taking
Mhm.
balance back basically.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
kind of creating the life you want regardless of where you live and what your situation is. So I feel like I guess to end it, do you think post quarantine people will, I guess, how much do you think lifestyles will change? Like, do you think we're going to immediately rush back into all the craziness? Do you think that maybe some of the taking breaks is going to stay? Do you think like even like do you think companies might start to consider more flexible scheduling because we've realized how many jobs can be done from home? I don't know. I like kind of will people adapt more flexibility in their life and balance?
I think for socially, I think whenever like it's mostly people are gonna jump back into it, but people still like appreciate like walks and things like that for like a couple months,
Yeah.
and then they're just like
Forget
go back to
about
how
it.
they were.
Yeah.
I think companies could actually there could be some talk maybe of more like flexible work from home, if like work from home schedules, if that wasn't a thing prior to this, if it was like working for them. So I think that could have like an actual lasting impact.
I agree.
I just feel like more people could use it.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, especially in the social aspect of it, I think that everyone's just gonna dive back in. They've been cooped up and can't see people
Yeah.
and can't go to bars for a drink, and that's just gonna explode.
Yeah.
Which I mean, that's not even that that crazy of a thing. That's something very simple too. Just
Oh,
meeting a friend for a
definitely.
That's so
drink.
true. That's so true.
It's a simple luxury at this point,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, so I don't know. I think the whole thing's interesting. I think part of me when this all started was like people will realize that we can slow down and like chill every now and then. But yeah, I'm sure as this goes on, it's going to become more of a um I don't know the word. Like it's going to start to feel more intense essentially, and people are going to want it to
mhm.
end more. So I feel like the positive sides people have been trying to see are just going to become weaker and weaker. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
and we'll
agree.
probably all go back to craziness within my
Yeah.
guess like 8 months of this being over.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But you can always hope.
But we'll see what happens.
We'll see. But yeah, so if that's all, thank you everyone who listened. I know last week or the last time this came out, I said, "Oh my God, we're everywhere." So far that's not true. We are on Spotify and you on the Anchor platform. I will like kind of describe it in the episode description. I am working on iTunes and like Google Play and stuff like that. I also upload it to YouTube because it really doesn't take that much time. So if that is
To
the
YouTube.
YouTube, it is still audio, but if people prefer to listen to podcasts on YouTube, it is still just Wine and Bitch podcast on YouTube. So that is all. Um, I guess that's it, right? Nothing else?
Heck yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers with our coffee and
Yeah.
all the drinks.
Don't worry, I'm
But
drinking enough for the three
Thank
of
listen,
you.
you.
next week, guys, next week we're gonna come back stronger than ever. Drinks for
Yeah,
everyone.
I like it.
I did tell myself I was gonna have a drink today, and then I woke up and went, absolutely not.
Yeah,
So,
literally.
but next time. But yeah, so thank you so much to everyone for listening, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.